welcome into the show. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. So glad that all of you are hanging out here with me. Coming up here on the show, we have a major Trent Williams update as things have been really silent on that front as compared to the Brandon Aiyuk situation. But finally, we have an update pertaining to Trent Williams. I did a YouTube short on this last night, but wanted to expand my thoughts in a long-form video right here on the channel. Hope all of you out there are having a great Wednesday. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And if you want Niners videos every single day, by the way, and you're coming across the program for the first time, hit that subscribe button. We are approaching 140,000 subscribers right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. So let's compare and contrast the Aiyuk situation and the Trent Williams contractual situation. The Brandon Aiyuk ordeal, it has been long, loud, dramatic, arduous, contentious. There have been updates and reports seemingly every single day over the last several months, and honestly, this started in the aftermath of the 49ers losing the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs because right away, you had his girlfriend coming out. You had his best friend making public comments. His girlfriend hinting that Aiyuk might be done with the 49ers. That was before locker room cleanout day. And then his best friend, right after the Niners lost that gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, kick-in-the-stone Super Bowl to Kansas City, his best friend putting salt in the wound, saying that BA is going to play with the Las Vegas Raiders. And then Aiyuk, of course, has gone about this situation in a very modern-day type of manner where he's tried to gain leverage and draw up controversy and stir up some talking points with his usage on social media. Remember when he tweeted directly at Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin saying, "They're calling us twins," right? He was with Jaden Daniels on TikTok, and clearly his girlfriend was recording him. His girlfriend was even seen on tape saying that. And Aiyuk said to Jaden Daniels on that said TikTok, "They don't want me anymore. They don't want me back. I swear." And then Aiyuk, after that, went on the Pivot podcast with Jaden Daniels in the room. Jaden Daniels and Aiyuk played together at Arizona State. And Aiyuk said, "Look, I want to come back to the Niners. We've had these conversations. There were a couple of times in which I told my agent to get the suit ready. We're ready for a press conference, and we just didn't end up signing that deal." And he told Ryan Clark and some of his other co-hosts that if he can't play with the Niners, he'd like to play with Pittsburgh, or he'd like to play for the Washington Commanders, because you have the Mike Tomlin connection, and Aiyuk is said to really respect him. That's been a driving factor in why Aiyuk has been considering Pittsburgh. And then you have Washington, where you have the situation with Jaden Daniels, they're best friends, but you have Adam Peters as their new general manager. Adam Peters used to be the assistant general manager for the Niners and was huge in that scouting department. He helped the Niners front office draft Brandon Aiyuk. So there's always been some trails there, but we're not done. How about the trade request from Brandon Aiyuk? And then he called out the Niners from that post that Brad of SF Niners put on Instagram and said, "Brad, the Niners are in the media every single day, pretty much hinting that you can't believe everything that you hear from all of these NFL insiders." So all of that and more has transpired and taken place on the Aiyuk front. With Trent Williams, he just quietly doesn't show up to training camp at the end of July. Nobody knew that he wasn't going to report the training camp. Everybody had reported, and then later on it was, "Oh yeah, Trent Williams isn't here." And Kyle Shanahan said, "Yeah, that is officially a holdout." And from that point, he's been holding out all throughout training camp. He has not taken to social media. He has not had agent-driven propaganda. There have not been really any leaks to any media members or reporters or content creators. But Trent Williams has been incurring daily fines of $50,000, and now he has been docked 2 game checks for missing the Niners' first 2 preseason games against Tennessee and against New Orleans. So that has left many of us wondering, basically all of us wondering, what is the deal with Trent Williams? What's going on with the 36-year-old three-time first-team All-Pro and 11-time Pro Bowler, a player who might be the most valuable player on this Niners offense, a player who's more valuable to this Niners offense compared to Aiyuk? Well, we finally have a new update from former NFL wide receiver DeSean Jackson, who's one of the most electrifying wide receivers of all time, a deep threat, an explosive threat, who was the epitome of being able to take the top off of the defense. He was on FS1 yesterday, and he was asked about the Niners as the panel was having a conversation about San Francisco going into 2024 because the vibes had been a little bit off, right? You have the Aiyuk ordeal. You have the Trent Williams situation. You're coming off that awful loss in the Super Bowl. How do you handle that physically and mentally? The Niners have also dealt with a lot of injuries. And looking ahead to week 1, I've been saying this for months. This game against the New York Jets is not going to be easy. You're banged up. You still haven't had things resolved with your number one wideout and your left tackle protecting the blind side of Brock Purdy. So some people in Niner land starting to panic a little bit. Not DeSean Jackson, though. He said, quote, "I don't think we need to panic. I was just on the phone with my boy Trent. He's working out, and when I say he's working out, he's in that gym, man. And you know what? A little insight. I don't want to talk too much, but I'm going to give y'all a little something. They're working on something," meaning Williams and the Niners are working on something. I think they're going to make it right for my boy to come in there. He might be showing up a little late. He's got some fines and some fees that he might have to take care of, but he's going to be there, man. So 49ers fans, it's going to be all right. Y'all take it easy, but honestly, he'll be there shortly. That's a pretty big nugget and a pretty big nuke to drop. Things are going to be okay. They're going to work something out, and Trent Williams is going to be there shortly. We are sitting here on August 21st as of this recording. The 49ers play the New York Jets Week 1 Monday Night Football on September 9th. I talked about this on the show yesterday pertaining to Aiyuk, but the same can be said for Trent Williams. At some point, you have to get Trent Williams and Brandon Aiyuk back, and you have to get them in the fold. You have to get them acclimated with this offense. You have to see what this first-string offense is capable of doing. Now, I know on the other side of that conversation, the Niners, with Aiyuk and Williams back, will return potentially all 11 starters from the team that went to the Super Bowl last year. Well, actually, it's going to be 10 now. That was the case, but John Feliciano underwent a knee surgery, so he's not going to be out until until the midway point of the regular season. So Dominic Pooney, I think, is going to start at right guard. But if Aiyuk and Williams are back, that's 10 of 11 starters for a team that played in the Super Bowl in February. That's great, but you have to knock off the rust. You have to get the body ready. You can't risk ramping up too quickly, and then that leads to soft tissue injury. So at some point, you have to get the best left tackle in the game and a second-team All-Pro at wide receiver acclimated within your offense. Because at some point, it becomes a little bit too late. Now, I know that Nick Bosa signed last year on the Wednesday before the Sunday of the season opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that's different from a scheme standpoint. There isn't as much nuance or complexities or timing or rhythm defensively for an edge rusher who can pin his ears back. He's one-on-one against a tackle, and he has to get after the quarterback, or if it's a running play, sets the edge. When you're playing offense, there are route combinations. There is timing. There is a route tree. If you're Trent Williams, there are pass sets, and you're going up against a really good Jets defense. You're getting out in space with timing and precision on some of those pull blocks. So I do think it's important, as Adam Schefter also said yesterday, as I've been saying for a long time, to get these deals done, because then it also increases the vibes, and it gets some positivity going toward training camp, and I think this Niners team can really use that right now. As for why Trent Williams is looking for a new deal, no more guaranteed money left on his contract. That's point number one. That's a big reason why Christian McCaffrey didn't report to voluntary OTAs. He wanted guaranteed money left on his deal because the guaranteed money had dried up. And he was coming off NFL Offensive Player of the Year honors, top 5 MVP voting, and he led the NFL in touches. And over the last year and a half, Christian McCaffrey at that point had been the Niners' Offensive Skill Player MVP. So for Trent Williams, he wants some guaranteed money. And yes, he's still technically under contract through 2026 as part of the 6-year, $136 million extension that he signed back in 2021 after he was sent from the Redskins to the Niners at the time. But just like the wide receiver market has exploded and why Aiyuk is looking for a big payday, the offensive tackle market has also straight up exploded this offseason. And it's really shifted. As it stands right now, Trent Williams' average annual value of $23 million per year is low for the player that he is because it ranks behind Andrew Thomas, Laramie Tunsil, Christian Darrisaw, Penei Sewell, and Tristan Wirfs. And those latter 3 players, Darrisaw, Sewell, and Wirfs, they all received contract extensions this offseason. So Trent Williams is looking around saying, they don't have the resume that I do. 3 first-team All-Pros, a second-team All-Pro, and 11-time Pro Bowler. They're not the player that I am. They don't have the importance to their team that I do. I have no more guaranteed money left. That's number one. And my average annual value, the Niners are stealing right now. So you got to give me some guaranteed money and or a contract restructure where the average annual value goes up higher. The issue with the Niners is that they want to know if they give Trent Williams guaranteed money that he's going to stick it out with San Francisco and not retire, because if he takes that guaranteed cash and then he just dips, that's awful for the Niners, who are already a little bit tight as far as the cash flow goes. So it could be incentive laden, and just like the Aiyuk contract has taken a while to figure out, Ari Mirov reporting today, things have never been so close. They just have to work out the fine print of that deal. There's some fine print with this Trent Williams deal, given the price of him, the price of the roster, and the guaranteed money. If the Niners, though, do give him a contract extension, they can free up a lot of cap space over the next few years with that guaranteed money. So wanted to give you all a Trent Williams update. Thanks for tuning in here to the Niners Report. Be sure to subscribe, and I will catch you tomorrow right here on the show.